Good morning, Christ Temple Family Church. I don't know about y'all, but I'm so excited to be here right now. So excited to be here right now. I'm going to give y'all a warning. This message is not going to be sexy. When God dropped this on my spirit, I had to wear steel-toe boots because he was really stepping on my toes. So I'm warning y'all, grab your Bible and grab your steel-toe boots. And I think Marcus said grab your hard hat too. Because it's about to really step on some toes and hit you upside your head. So y'all ready? Are y'all ready to hear a word from the Lord? So last week, my big bro Eugene, Minister Eugene, brought a word last Sunday. And in his message, he said something that really spoke to me. And I've been thinking about it all week. He mentioned how some Christians are okay with just doing enough to get by. And I've been thinking about that all week, and that's crazy how, as a disciple of Christ, as a Christian, as a believer, some of us are okay with mediocre. Some of us are just okay with just doing enough to get by. And I don't know about y'all, but I do not want to live just an okay life. We serve a God that's all about abundance. We serve a God that's about overflow, being fruitful and multiply. So if we serve a God like that, why do we want to settle for just okay? We want to do the bare minimum, but want God to do so much. We want to do little when we want God to do a lot. We want God to move in our way in a dramatic way, but we only want to do a little bit of work for it. But you reap what you sow. So if you sow okay, you're going to reap okay. So if you sow little, you're going to reap little. So why are we okay with just being okay? Why? And I don't know about you, but I want to live a life of abundance. I want to live a life of abundance. But in order to do that, we need to position ourselves to receive abundance. We need to be committed to doing more to receive more. It takes commitment. And that's the word a lot of people don't like. Commitment. Commitment. How committed are you to wanting to live an abundant life? How committed are you to just doing more than just the bare minimum? How committed are you to sow great so you can reap great? How committed are you? The Bible says commit to the Lord in all you do. Commit to the Lord in all you do. Commit to the Lord in your time. Commit to the Lord with your talent, with your gift. And most importantly, and this is the message I want to talk about today, commit to the Lord with your finances. And that's why I said, get your steel-toe boots on, because we talking about money. We talking about finances. We talking about tithing. Yes. Commit to the Lord with your finances. Because a way we can experience a life of abundance, is to honor God with our money. Honor God with our finances. And I challenge you to start honoring God with your money. I dare you to honor. I double dog. You know what? I triple dog dare you to honor God with your money. And that's the message title for today. The triple dog dare. The triple dog dare is to start honoring God with your finances. The triple dog dare. And when people say triple dog dare, it's serious. You can't back out. And whenever I think about triple dog dare, I just remember the flagpole scene in A Christmas Story. That was a triple dog dare. And so I triple dog dare you to honor God with your money. I triple dog dare you to start tithing and watch God bless you abundantly. Start honoring God with your money and watch Him bless you abundantly. Malachi chapter 3, that's what I'm speaking out of. Malachi 3, verses 10 through 11. Verse 10 says, bring all the tithes into the storehouse, so there will be enough food in my temple. If you do, says the Lord, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing. He didn't say sprinkle. He didn't say drizzle. He meant like a oops. He meant like a oops. Oh, blessing right there. He meant a pour. So God is ready to pour out a blessing so great that you won't have enough room you're going to have to make room for the big old blessing that God wants to give you when you start honoring him with your finances. He said, bring the tithes to me and watch me pour out a blessing. So great. I'm not going to sprinkle. I'm going to dump it. I'm going to dump it on you. I'm going to dump it on you. And he says, try it. Put me to the test. Try it. Try me. God is ready God has a big old blessing for you. And that's another title I was going back and forth with. Big old blessing. Big old blessing. How committed are you to receive a big old blessing from God? How committed are you to receive a big old blessing from God? But it's going to take you to be committed financially to God. That's right. It's going to take that. That's right. He said, I will pour out a blessing so great, you're going to have to share it. That's how big the blessing is going to be that you can't have it all to yourself. It's going to force you to be a blessing to somebody else. And that's the beautiful thing when you're a blessing to somebody else. When you just have so much, you just need to share it with people. I remember one day I was headed to the Kansas City Improv for a comedy show, and I was hungry, so I stopped by Wendy's. I went in, I was getting a burger and a fry. And somebody was in the drive-thru. They was very upset. I guess their food was taking so long, and they drove off after they ordered. And so the cook came from the back and said, hey, this dude ordered like 8 burgers. And he left, so do you want them? And I was like, man, you should have came out before I ordered my food. But okay. And so I had like 10 burgers on me total. And I was excited because normally when I go to the Kansas City Improv, I always run into a lot of homeless people. And I was ready to be a blessing to them. And I was upset because that particular day, I didn't see none of them. I was upset because they weren't homeless. I'm like, why are y'all not out here? I was ready to share this big old blessing with you. I was ready. And that's how it's going to be when you start honoring God financially. You just going to be blessed so abundantly, you're going to be excited to share it with people. That's right. Because we are called to be a blessing to other people. We are called to be a blessing to other people. God is going to dump a blessing on you so great, you won't have enough room. You're going to have to make room. You're going to have to share the blessing. Yeah. Be a blessing to other people. And I don't know about you, but I want to be a blessing to other people. I want to live a life so abundantly that I can bless other people. I don't want to live just an okay life. I'm going to be honest. I don't. I want to live a life. I want to be fruitful. I want to multiply. I want to overflow. I want to experience all that God has in store for me. But it's going to take me to be committed with my finances. It's going to take me the discipline to tithe. And that's what this text is saying. Bring your tithes to me and watch me pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room for it. You're going to have to make room. It's going to force you to expand. It's going to force you to get out your comfort zone. It's going to force you to go into a bigger pond because where you're at is too small. When you're committed to God, He's going to bless you abundantly. God is saying, test me. Put me to the test and see what I can do for you. Challenge me. Try it. Just try what I'm going. Look, God is not going to tell you to do something for you to fail. Yeah, take that step. He's saying, try me, put me to the test. All I want is 10%. All I want is $1 out of every $10 you make. All I want is 10. You can't let me hold $1. That's what God is saying. I just want $1. That's all I want. You can't let a brother hold $1. Let me say, I can do more. God is saying He can do more with that 10% than any scratch off ticket can do for you. God can do more with that dollar than any slot machine can do for you. God can do more with that 10% than any casino can do for you. And you have some people would take that money and bet on a racehorse, and then instead of betting it on God. I've seen it. I've seen it. People say, I can't afford to tithe, but you can afford to tithe, just misplaced priorities. That's what it all told you, stepping on toes, stepping on toes, stepping on toes. It's true. It's true. People would take that, people would rather gamble on other things than gamble on God. And God is saying, gamble on me. If you're going to bet money on something, bet it on me and watch what I can do for you. He can do more with that dollar than anybody else can do for you. Any other organization can do for you. Any other casino can do for you. Racer, anything can do for you. That's crazy, because tithing takes faith. Tithing is an expression of your trust, is an expression of your faith. So here's the thing, when you're refusing, or you're not, refusing, that's the right, when you're refusing to bet that money, instead of betting on God, you betting it somewhere else, you're having more trust in that. Because let's be honest, what is betting? What is gambling? You have faith. You have faith that an unpredictable outcome is going to turn out in your favor. That's pretty much what gambling is, right? That's pretty much. So when you give your money to, say, I'm gonna say a racehorse, because to be honest, I've been in there against, and I witnessed and I saw it, and and people, it takes faith that you will bet your money in a horse. You have more trust in a slot machine, more trust in a basketball game, more trust in I remember senior year, we always should go down to Dick Weber's and bowl, and people be gambling on bowling. People have more trust in that than they do trusting God. That quick come up. Because God is not all about quick. They want that instant gratification. It may not turn out in your favor, and you keep throwing money at it. And you are so quick to throw your money and feed that machine and feed that desire instead of feeding your faith, feeding your trust in God. And God can do more for you with that 10% than anybody else can do for you. And I triple dog dare you to prove me wrong. Matter of fact, try to prove God wrong. Prove God wrong. He said, try me. Put me to the test. Prove me wrong. And let me tell y'all something. You're not going to be able to prove them wrong. You're not. They're betting. People are willing to bet their money elsewhere. So a reason people don't tithe is misplaced priorities. Another reason is that, people feel like it's being real. People feel like the church don't need money. It's false. Church is a non-profit organization. Church is a business. It takes money to run a business. It takes money. Do y'all not understand that? It takes money. And people will be like, I feel like the church should do more in the community. It takes money. Resources. Resources are not free. People, I feel like the church should have food drives, do all this stuff. It takes money. It takes money. So I don't understand why people don't get that. And I'm saying it because I've been in conversations and people just don't get it. They feel like the church should just run off faith alone. But unfortunately, you need money in this world. You need financial resource, and a church can only thrive so much. A church is only allowed to go as far as the finances. A church can only do so much. Finances come into play. I'm pretty sure y'all see a difference now with the live stream. Finances. This stuff wasn't free. This didn't drop from heaven. It takes resources. And some people don't tithe because they feel like, Hey, people stealing money. Church is stealing money. The pastor's stealing money. Unfortunately, there have been, it's corrupt people out here. That's the world we live in. It's corrupt people everywhere. I was watching a documentary, me and my wife, on a school district where the superintendent was stealing millions of dollars. It's corrupt leaders out here. But let me tell you something. And this is how I deal with that concept of the church stealing money. I feel like, so one of my jobs being a consultant is to write status reports. Whenever I meet with a client, I have to send my boss a status report so they can report to their bosses. That's just how it is. And I hate sending those status reports because nobody read them. Nobody read them. They always still ask questions on what I just sent them. But I have to send it because it's covering myself. Yeah. So now, if their boss reach out to them and say, hey, what has been going on with this project? They can't say they don't know. They can't say they don't know. So if they delete my email, if they don't read my report, it's on them. It's not on me. That's right. So I can only cover myself. So when you give out your heart and somebody misuses the finance or something else, that's between them and God. I did my part. I did my job. And so that's how I handle this whole idea of the church stealing money, corrupt leaders taking money out here. Hey, you did. God looks at your heart. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. You triple dog there, and you did the right thing. Now if they take the money and do something else with it, that's between them and God, and they're gonna get theirs. They're gonna get theirs because they're stealing God's money now. That's a whole different story. But that's another reason people they feel like the church stealing money. And unfortunately, it has been cases like that. And it's because it's corrupt people everywhere. The church is ran by people. That's right. God uses people to run the church. Yep. So people are human. Yes. Humans can become corrupt. So yes, the church it's ran by people. People can become corrupt. And some people don't tithe, and this is the category I fell in from time to time, because they simply can't afford it. There's been times, especially when I was a college student, where you feel like, I need this 100%. I need this 100%. I can't afford to give this 10%. I can't afford it. And it's times I didn't tithe, because I was like, I need this 100%. I'm a college student, broke and hungry. I need it. But here's the thing. Yeah, it's a trust issue because there's times when I didn't tithe and I felt uneasy all week. When you know you're doing wrong, you know you should have did something, the Holy Spirit really speak to you. And I felt like the Holy Spirit was just going to catch me off guard and just punch me in the back of the head. Yeah, and I felt I was walking on edge all week. I said, I'm giving twice as much next time because I feel guilty. I don't want to get knocked out. And this is what I also learned. You feel like you need that 100%. But God is saying, if you give me that 10%, I can work with that 90%. That 90%, He can work with. That 90% is your 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. He will make that stretch. So the problem may not be you don't trust God. The problem might be you don't know how to budget that 90%. I know that B word. People don't like that budgeting word. So that can be the problem. The problem is you may not know how to budget that 90%. But God is saying, trust me with that 90% and I'll make it stretch. Trust me. Trust me. And it's times you can ask my wife where we trusted God with that 90% and we had more money than we calculated. I'm like, I don't know how I did my numbers wrong, but God made that 90% stretch. Yep. That 90% is your 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Just think about it like that. When you tithe, be like, look, I got this 90%. God, help me work with this. And God will stretch it for you where you feel like, dang, it don't even feel like I had to go back and check my statements. And see, did I tithe? Because I do have more money than I realized. But that's trusting God with that 90%. So no matter which reason why you tithe, I just triple dog dare you to start tithing. I triple dog dare you to start honoring God with your finances and watch him bless you abundantly. Put him to the test. Place that bet on God and watch him work in your life. Place that bet. Take that risk. Challenge God. He's saying, put me to the test. His word will never, ever return void. It will never return void. So when he's saying this, when he's telling you to challenge him, put him to the test, and so he can bless you abundantly, he's not going to lie to you. Bless you abundantly. God has given you permission to test him. He's giving you permission to test him this way. And I say this way because there is a right way and a wrong way to test God. Testing God with your tithing is okay. He's saying that's okay because tithing is an expression of your faith in him. Tithing is an expression of your trust in him. Tithing is an expression of your obedience. So tithing is the proper way to test God. Testing God, nothing wrong with testing God with your trust. Testing God with your belief in him. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, what's the wrong way to test God, Nick? What's the wrong way? I'm glad you asked. The wrong way to test God. The wrong way is to test God with your complaint, your unbelief, and your rebellion. And that's what that generation of Israelites did when God delivered them from Egypt. And he was taking them to the promised land. Yeah. They tested God with their unbelief. They tested God with their complaining. They tested God with their rebellion. That's how they tested God, and that's the wrong way to test God. In Exodus 17, that generation of Israelites camped at Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. So they were thirsty. They were thirsty, and they started complaining to Moses. Yeah. They started arguing with Moses. They were so upset with Moses because they were too thirsty. They told Moses, they said, why did you bring us out here to die of thirst? Why did you bring us out here? And Moses like, shut up. This is my translation. Moses said, shut up. Why are y'all complaining? Why are y'all testing the Lord? And they said, because we thirsty. Ain't it amazing how sometimes being too thirsty is bad for you? Isn't it amazing? Sometimes you can be so thirsty that you run back to what God delivered you from. Yeah. Because you're too thirsty. And they were so thirsty, they were ready to stone Moses. I know, I don't want to be that thirsty. But they were ready and they were testing God with their unbelief. And Moses ran to God for help and was like, hey, God, they trying to stone your boy. Because they thirsty, and God said, strike this rock and water will come running out. And that's what Moses did. And in verse 7, Moses named that place Massah, which means test, and Meribah, which means arguing, or some people say complaining, because the people of Israel argued with Moses and tested the Lord by saying, is the Lord here with us or not? And that sounds like some of us. Is the Lord here with us or not? And they were testing the Lord that way. God parted the Red Sea for them. And they still had the nerve to say, is the Lord with us or not? In Deuteronomy chapter 6, the Bible said, do not put the Lord your God to test as you did in Massah. And then Psalm 95, see, that really irked God when what they did, when they tested God in that moment, because of their unbelief in him after he did so much. The Lord said, don't harden your hearts as Israel did in Meribah, as they did at Massah in the wilderness, for there your ancestors tested and tried my patience, even though they saw everything I did. They tested and tried my patience. That's the wrong way to test God. He's saying, do not test me that way. They tested and tried my patience, even though they seen everything I could do. What more do God have to do for you to understand that he's there with you? What more does God have to do? He parted the Red Sea, yet they still didn't believe. Yeah. And he's saying, do not test me that way. So the wrong way to test God is with your unbelief. The right way to test God is in this text right here in Malachi, is by tithing. Because tithing is an expression of your faith in Him. So testing God with your faith, testing God with your trust, testing God with your obedience is the proper way to test God. Obedience says a lot. I tell people all the time, look, don't strive to be perfect. You're going to go crazy. You're going to go crazy trying to be perfect. So I don't strive to be perfect. I strive to be obedient. That's all I try to do. And that's all I encourage people to do. Don't strive to be, especially we got to tell kids that we think you have to be perfect. Or no, just listen. Just listen. God don't want you to be perfect. He just wants you to listen to Him and obey His word. You're going to fail from time to time, but correct yourself and listen. Obey. Don't strive to be perfect. Strive to be obedient. When you're obedient to God, you're positioning yourself to receive abundance. But that abundance is not going to always be financial. And that's the thing we always want. We always want the financial blessing. We give that 10%. I think Bishop say we write a check in the mail and we expect $1 million check to come back. And God may not do that. That's right. Instead of blessing you financially, He might bless you with a business idea that's worth $1 million. I like that. So He might not write you a check, but He'll put an idea in your heart where you invent something and checks just start coming towards you. He might bless you with a business. He might give you favor with a company you've been dying to work for. So His blessings can come in all types of ways. So let's not just limit Him to financial blessings. That's what we all, because our mind works with money. Our mind works with, but God is more than just money. God will bless you in areas where He sees fit. Where you feel, have God ever blessed you in a way where you didn't even know you needed that blessing, but He knew you needed it? Yeah. Because God knows. God knows. He might bless you with favor with your job, favor with your boss. He might bless you with a business opportunity, drop a business idea in your heart. You never know. God is ambidextrous. You don't know which hand He's going to bless you with. You looking at His left hand, think He gonna move that way, but He doing something with His right hand. And to all my baseball fans, just think about this: God is a switch hitter. You don't know which way He gonna swing that bat and hit you with a blessing. He'll catch you off guard. I like that one. Yeah, God is a switch hitter. Abundance can come financially. Abundance can also come in health. Which, hey, millennials, you watching? We're getting older. We're hitting the 30s. Wow. Yeah. I know it don't sound, it sounds young to a lot of people in here. But to me, I'm like, dang, we at the age where we have to start taking care of our body a little more. Like health insurance is really looking good right now. And I learned about health at a very young age. I remember when I was 16, I injured myself playing basketball. I had a back spasm. And I didn't realize how important your back was to your body. I couldn't move. My mama had to help me get dressed. It was embarrassing. I started praying like, God, please just help me get through this. And I would thank you for health every day of my life. I really couldn't. I used to bend down, touch my toe. I could only go this far. It was horrible. And ever since then, I started thanking God for health. And I see why people bless Him. Well, thank Him for good health. Because I couldn't imagine living the rest of my life that way. Yeah, I was 16, 17, I was young, but I learned my lesson. He'll bless you with health. He'll also bless you with protection. In verse 11, He said, your crops will be abundant, for I will guard them from insects, and I will guard them. I will protect you. I will guard you. God will protect you from danger seen and unseen. Like when I get to that point and I go to heaven when our time comes, I just want to see all the things God protected me from. I'm just curious. Just want to see, well, because that speaks volumes. Because I've been in situations where stray bullets hit other people but didn't hit me. I've driven in road conditions that killed other people but didn't kill me. So God, abundance can come in protection. The blessing can be in His protection. That's right. So the blessing may not always be financial. The blessing can be in His protection. So I triple dog dare you to trust Him with that 10% and watch Him bless you abundantly, financially, in health, in protection. You don't know which way God is going to bless you, but He is going to bless you. That's what you do know. And watch Him show out in your life. And one thing I learned about God is that He loves to one-up you. God is the God of the one-up. God, you think you did something, but you can't outdo God. I heard Bishop say that, and it really stuck with me. You can't outdo God. When you do something for God and God, okay, you did that for me, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to take it up the next level. God would be a terrible person to share a story with because He'll have a better story for you. God is the God. You can't outdo God. Look at Job. The Lord restored his fortune and gave him twice as much as he had before. God one-upped them. He said, you did this for me. You were this faithful to me during this time in your life. During the season, I'm going to give you twice as much. Yeah. You can't outdo God. You can't. God is the God, and I don't want to live an okay life. I want to live a life where God blesses me abundantly. But it's going to take commitment. And I triple dog dare you to start honoring God with your money and watch Him bless you. And I would never preach to y'all something I don't say to myself, that I don't preach to myself. I live this life. I'm not a hypocrite. I believe in this wholeheartedly. Because it's been my life for years, since I was 15, 16, working at Six Flags, making $6.80 an hour. And half of that money was used to catch a shuttle to get to Six Flags. But I still wanted to honor God with my money. Yeah. And this sermon really spoke to me because a few weeks ago, the last Thursday of March, I had a breakdown. I had a breakdown because I felt like I was failing as a man. I felt like I was failing as a father, and I felt like I was failing as a husband because of a decision I made going on 3 years ago to walk away from corporate America. But I walked away from my full-time job making $67,700 a year. Salaried benefits, most importantly, stability. And I walked away from that. And a lot of people know me and my family moved here, and we're in the process of getting a house. And I didn't know mortgage lenders didn't care for self-employed people. I didn't know that. And it caught me off guard because I was facing when me and my family agreed to make this move down here, and I prayed about it, and we've been trying to get a home for the past 2 or 3 years. And we couldn't in Kansas City. That door wasn't opening. And then I told God, look, if I agree to make this decision down here, my family wants a house. My wife wants a house. I want a house. And I heard God say, there's a house with your name on it in St. Louis. And we made that move. And I adopted this phrase, glance at the problem, stare at the promise. Whenever I'm faced with hard times, glance at the problem, stare at the promise. And that's what I started doing. Whenever I was faced with resistance, I was just staring at the promise of a house that God said He was going to bless me with. And then we found a house. My wife went to go see it, and be crazy, it may sound funny, but it did have our name on it. It was in one of the rooms, the sellers, their daughter middle name was Rose. My daughter in the back working live stream, her middle name is Rose. And it was written on the wall. And I'm like, this is our house right here. And this market is pretty hot right now. This market is very difficult. I mean, our first offer for a house got turned, didn't get selected, but it didn't faze me because I was staring at the promise. I was staring at the promise, so it didn't faze me. And so now then we put another offer in our house. It had 20 offers on it. 6 of them were cash offers. We ain't that rich. But out of all the offers, our offer got selected for the house. And I started thanking God because I started staring at the promise even more. Like, God got me. And now we're starting the whole, the process of closing. And that's when the underwriters kick in. Underwriters put me through hell. That's what they were doing. And it was discouraging me because I was self-employed. I felt like because of that decision to be self-employed, it's about to ruin this opportunity that God says He's going to bless me with. So I went from glancing at the problem and staring at the promise to staring at the problem and glancing at the promise. And I felt like it's my fault. If we don't get this house, it's all on me because of the decision I made. And I had a breakdown. Because I was like, wow, I really messed up. And yeah, I mean, And I remember it was during a breakdown. I reached out to somebody and I said, hey, I think, and I told them how I failed, like I messed up. And they said, you didn't mess up, you didn't fail. Because what you did was right in the season of your life. But God is preparing you for a season that's going to require more from you. It's going to require you to do something different. And see, it's important to know the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people know when it's time to pivot. When it's time to change direction. See, that's what's going on. You're not failing, you're pivoting. That's all you're doing. And it made me feel, she said, so at that time, what you did was right. Now, God is preparing you, and where God is taking you, it's going to require you to be more stable. It's going to require more stability. So, you're going to need at this season, you need a full-time job. You need to go back to that full-time life for God to bless you with. And say, it's not too, so you didn't mess up. It's just got to switch it up a little bit. Now, here's the problem. Now I need a full-time job. Now I need salary position. And so this was a Thursday. And let me tell you how good God is. I'm sharing this story because a lot of people see the glory. A lot of people see the glory, but they don't hear the story. And y'all need to know the story. You see this smile, but I go through hard times too. I go through tough times too. So in 24 hours, I prayed and I said, God, like I need something right now because I was just dog tired. Like I was emptied. I heard somebody say there was a difference between being tired and being empty. I was empty. I was exhausted. I exhausted every resource I could think of. I need you to step in. I felt like that in the story when they were on a boat in the middle of a storm and Jesus was asleep. And I was like, I need you to wake up. I need you to wake up right now because I don't want to lose this opportunity. And my contract was about to expire because I'm a contractor. It expires. And then, but the company I was doing contract work for called me 24 hours later and said, hey, Nick, we have 2 options for you. Option 1, we can renew your contract another year, but instead of making $65 an hour, we're going to move you to $70. $70 an hour sounds good, don't it? But it's not stable money. It's not guaranteed salary money. And then it said, or option 2, we offer you a full-time salary position. And I immediately felt like Will Smith at In the Pursuit of Happiness. How God I needed something. God got me a job that I didn't even have to interview for. With benefits. And here's the thing though, like I said earlier, God is the God of the one-up. God likes to one-up you, right? And here's the part that it really made me cry. See, it was a sacrifice coming down here. I'm going to be honest. Walking away from full-time comedy was difficult because I was at the rising of my career. I'm going to be honest, I was in rooms with people on TV. Things were going very well for me. Kansas City was going very well for me. But I just could not listen to God. I don't strive to be perfect, I strive to be obedient. And so by being obedient and moving down here and still trusting God during this time, God is saying, you can't outdo me. So I know in your head, you was thinking of a 5-figure salary. You was thinking of a 5-figure salary, but I'm going to one-up you on that one. So instead of a 5-figure salary, you're going to get a 6-figure salary.
All right.
In 24 hours, he just doubled my income. In 24 hours, he provided me the stability that I was needing to enter this new season of my life. And to be honest, it's not about the money. It's about God seeing his servant in need. Seeing his servant emptied out and he filled me up. And in this entire process, I hurried up and I called my mortgage lender to tell him what happened, who happens to be a minister, and I didn't even know it. But he started praising God on the phone when he heard what happened. He's a brother, so he was like, bro, oh man, you see. But he said something so profound. He said, hey man, if you ever had a doubt if God is on your side, it just got removed. That's right. He said the fact that he did this so quickly shows that was God's hands on your life all this time. All this time. And then he stopped and he said, I got one question to ask you. I said, what's up? He said, you're a tither, ain't you? I said, yeah, I am. He said, I knew it. He said, I knew it when you was telling me the whole story. I said, this brother's a tither. This brother is tired because he positioned himself for abundance. He positioned himself for this big old blessing. And I just know that was God. Because I was legit done. I was defeated. And he saw me in need. And he one-upped me. He one-upped me. God's word will never return void. That's right. When you honor God, when you're committed to God, he's going to bless you abundantly. And when you take care of God's business, he'll take care of your business plus more. So I pray that this word helped you. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Christ Temple Family Church.